GITD.
Dia de Crianças?
Yes! Feliz Dia das Crianças! Ai, como foi ridículo.
Ei, meu.
Hoje é
Meu
Dia das
amor.
Crianças, amor.
Eu sei.
Ah,
Eu sei por causa do Facebook, né? Meus amigos, tudo no Face fala sobre Dia de Crianças. Mas é dia de Nossa
sim,
Senhora também, sabe?
Nossa Senhora da Aparecida. Sim, sei. A Nossa Senhora que... Você sabe da história da Nossa Senhora?
Não.
Ela apareceu para 3 crianças.
Ah! Fátima!
Isso! Ela
Em
apareceu para 3
Portugal.
crianças.
Em
Isso.
Portugal. É.
Aí por
Ah, é
isso que é Dia das
isso?
Crianças. É.
So the patron Saint Marcus. So
Ei,
the patron
Márcio!
saint. So today is Children's Day in Brazil. Korea also has a Children's Day. Tragically, America is missing out hugely on Children's Day. That maybe that needs to be my new thing. Let's shoot for a Children's Day. You know, celebrate it on. Oh, I don't know. What would be a good day to choose for Children's Day? 420, bro. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for joining us. It's also the day of the patron saint of Brazil, which is Nossa Senhora, which is our lady, which is a Mariana. Nossa Senhora é
É,
Maria, my Jesus.
Mãe de Jesus.
So Mexico has it as well. See, I think most all countries has it. I think America was too busy chaining their children and enslaving them to work for their industrial machinery, and or enslaving them and making them pick their cotton, that it just never occurred to the American mind to actually celebrate children. Sexually molest them, but let's not
Uhum.
celebrate them. That would be too shameful to the American fragile morality sense of morality. Because if you look at American dominant morality, it's cheap. It's a very cheap morality. Um, you know, it's easy, it's cheap, and it's instant gratification. There's no serious commitment. There's no measurable results. You don't have to do it in terms of children's lives saved, or less people in poverty, less drug addiction, less teenage. Because every single one of our common policies dramatically increase all of the negative social indicators, whether it's literacy, whether it's teenage pregnancy, etc. The DARE program, increased drug use. The abstinence only programs, increased teenage pregnancy. Um, you look at the dramatically precipitating educational levels of students, which dramatically increases poverty. So anyway, um, let's get to the unboxing. So, well, first I picked this up. It was in the sale rack at the at Ralph's, at the supermarket. It's just a simple pencil box, but of course, in the hands of a knife dude, it's a gearbox. So I'm going to um I don't know, maybe put some tools in here. Oh, I know. Let me start putting my multi tools in here, because I have too many multi tools. There we go. Multi tool city. There we go. So that'll help organize some of my multi tools in one place. I mean, some of them. Heck is this? Oh,
Organizado.
my sway back.
Que isso? Abre a faca. Não, que fofa.
Isso é me carta verde. Ah, vermelho.
Vermelha. Ai, me
É
carta.
muito,
Ah,
é muito popular isso. E olha, é a ergonomia
ergonômico.
é ergonômico. So this is the Rough Rider Red Micarta. Is this a swayback? Or Upswept Trapper? That's what it is. Upswept Trapper. That ergonomic design. This is why. Yes, it's a tactical box. Yes, you know, maybe I should get stickers made like everybody else. Tactical, you know. Yeah, this is the SMKW. The question is, I don't know if it's an exclusive though. I think they had these made. It wouldn't surprise me if other people sell them as well. I have the other. I believe I have the both colors of these. I think, and then I have the original. What is it? The denim my card work knife. Hey, Alex. Alex, also remind me.
Hey, Alex.
I want to do a special show for you on wallet carry because I remember when you went to the concert, you were asking me like, look, what's a good way of getting a knife in that security isn't going to notice? And it wasn't until after you went to the concert or after you already left for it, I realized the best way is a wallet knife. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, those wallet knives are terrible. Yes, they are. But there's a huge range of them. Oh, that's my other sub collection. Wallet sub. The wallet knives. That's my other sub collection. This is actually a little bit too big. It doesn't have very good retention. I probably need to put something else in there. Anyway, I need to put this with my other traditionals. And let's see.
Nossa, eu tô podre.
This is the Ruger for the 1911. That's to get the what is the knob? What do you call that at the front of the barrel? The barrel helps to hold the front of the barrel while you disassemble. So that's what that's for. And no, I don't have a 1911, but anyway, let's see if that'll fit in there as well. Apparently not.
O que você tá procurando aí que não dá pra ver?
É?
Não dá pra ver o que você tá fazendo?
Ah, tá.
Amor, diminui minha câmera.
Diminui? Ah, sério?
É, pro pessoal ver melhor.
Did you get any extra damn design stickers? I didn't get any. I'll be honest. I barely made it to the. I made it to the last couple hours each day. I just couldn't get there any earlier, unfortunately, and I didn't. I basically didn't get any stickers. Not to mention, I didn't even make it to Damn Design at all, which obviously was a huge mistake. I wanted to get to them, Quiet Carry. There were a couple other places, and I just didn't make it. I went to Artisan Cutlery CJRB because I wanted to get the Artisan Sea Snake. I went to Tops twice, spent a shitload of time with them because right now I'm really more into fixed blades. That's kind of my thing right now. I've been now for kind of a while. I think I'm getting a little bit bored of folders. And at this point, I'm reduced to literally nothing but fidget factor. I pretty much don't need a single other folder for really basically for any reason. I just don't need them anymore. I have more than enough folders. And also, what I want to ask people out there, and you can comment below, how many people, now this probably doesn't count as a boomerang knife, but how many people think they lose a knife? I was like, damn it, I lost that knife. This is one of my newest knives, Sanrenmu, the SRM, and yes, I've been using it. Front flipper with the bar, with the bar lock, the Axis style bar lock. Pretty decent action. Canadian Cutting Edge used his KME to sharpen it, and it's gunked up, and it has a screaming edge. I mean, this thing just blunk. He's very good at sharpening, whatever it is he does. And you're thinking, oh well, he's got a machine. That's not enough. You got to get the burr right. You really got to know how to sharpen, even if you have a fixed angle system. You got to get good at knocking that burr off and moving it back and forth, et cetera, et cetera. So he does a good job, and he's got one of those things that measures the best, the sharpness. And I'm not always doing super good at flipping the front flipper. I don't like this sort of Tron style look. It makes it look cheap and whatnot. But for me, it's a pure user. I wanted to check out the Sanrenmu's new version of the Axis lock, their bar lock, and it's got a nice decent deep pocket clip, kind of like an anodized aluminum. Extremely affordable budget, flush screws. You get tremendous value from these Chinese production companies. They're kicking people's butts. I'm sorry, they just are. I'm not necessarily pro or anti China and Chinese production. I mean, I'm in manufacturing myself, so obviously I'd like to see manufacturing here. And that has a lot to do with the betrayal of our political class, who's been bought out by the corporate oligarchs, and they have stolen our treasury, which is our tax, which is our economic output, and given it away for free to corporations to move their production overseas. Right? There is a program. I don't know it just from books. I know it from the business side as well. And yes, indeed, they are funded to take our jobs away. So it's just a full-on giveaway. So, I mean, when these conservatives want to complain about things, they really are barking up the wrong tree. They want to blame immigrants and millennials buying coffee. And they don't realize that there are far more powerful forces at work that have stolen tens, hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands times more from the wealth of the people. So let's see. Let me catch up here. But in a pinch, they do well. You probably know some that are not crappy or more decent. Yes, I do. And I'm going to find... I'm not going to be able to put all of them together just yet because they're scattered here and there. But I'll as they trickle out, I'll show you them little by little, what some of the possibilities are out there. So, okay, those ram skulls looked really cool. Ram skulls? I'm not sure. I'm sorry. Were you talking about the barrel brushing tool? With the Ruger, you mean? I don't know what you mean by the barrel brushing tool. It's to hold the that. Can you see that? It's beveled. It holds the front so that you can hold the front of the barrel of the 911. There is no brush tool. Everything else here is, again, it's custom made. This is Ruger made by CRKT, which is one of the best budget collabs out there. So their blade is this Tanto style. It's called the 1911 tool. It's not like an upgraded steel or anything, but it does have a liner lock, which goes the opposite way, kind of like Swiss Army does. And then it's got, you know, a bunch of series of flat end, you know, like screwdriver type, wedge type tools, and a file, and then, you know, hex wrenches.
Ele falou que não.
Oh, the stickers. Oh, the Ram stickers. Yeah. Oh, I know what you mean. The Damn Design Ram skulls. I'm sorry. I should have realized that. Bushing. Oh, is that what it's called? The bushing. Thank you. Oh, okay. Yeah. The bushing. Did I fully read that wrong? Barrel bushing. I did. The barrel bushing. Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to do my best with these shitty glasses and the bad angle and my low screen light. And anyway, I know those are all excuses, but I probably still would have misread that. But I did also genuinely read it wrong. Okay, so let's put that.
E esse da box? Esse box.
Okay.
Essa caixa fechada é minha?
Isso.
Não, a outra caixa. Mas
Isso.
é minha?
Não. Louca. É nada para você, é tudo para mim.
Não.
Louca.
Até minhas facas?
É muito comum. Tudo
É my knife. You not a knife. This is mine. Oxi. Fala igual na Bahia. Oxi, menino. Oxi, menino.
Oxi. Tudo que knife para você.
Tudo que knife é para mim, nunca para você.
So, official unboxing knife, Boker Excalibur 1, special edition Frank Frazetta Queen of the Damned painting, and it's got good action. And I am unboxing. I actually had to look it up. If you'll notice, all my unboxings, I'm like, I don't remember what I ordered. And then after I ordered, I was like, oh, yeah. And today would have been the same thing. I literally already forgot what I had gotten, but I looked it up because I wanted to actually put it in the title, which I did.
Welcome.
Put it in the title.
Que malo, Marcos. Muy malo.
Que malo.
O Marcos te chamou de malo. Porque você quer pegar minhas facas.
Wow, nothing for Mariana. Que malo. How bad. Yes, how evil, how mean. Yep, correct. Okay. So, sophisticated packaging. Okay, what is this from? Wrinkle-free, The Power of Parts. National Park Foundation. Is that really the thing? National Park Foundation? Be an outsider? Oh, it's LL Bean. Okay. It's LL Bean catalog. Okay, here it is. Basically looks like a new box to me.
Sorry.
You know, some shelfware on the box, but otherwise looks quite good. Delica Zome Glow-in-the-Dark BK. What the fuck does BK mean? Made in Japan. C11 ZFP GITD BK. Oh, BK, backlock. I think that's what it stands for.
Made in Japan?
Hey,
Moshi moshi.
Moshi moshi.
Moshi moshi.
Moshi moshi.
Watashi Mariana desu. Oroshiku negashimasu.
BK, because it's the black blade. The black blade is only maybe like $10 more. I'm not sure how I feel about a black blade. I guess it does look more sleek anyway. And there it is. 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 I love the
Oh
Zome
my
color.
God.
I was literally tempted just to get the red and black Zome because those are, red and black are the anarcho syndicalist colors. So those are, fantastic colors. There's the Sal Glesser Maker's Mark.
Black
And
beige. Yeah.
yeah, I actually like the texture of these. Usually I hit FRN, but I don't know. These feel pretty good. They did the right kind of texture, like milling pattern or the mold pattern of these grippy things here are pretty good. But also on top of that, there's something soft about the texture, and that might be, I don't know if that's because of whatever kind of powder they have to put into the thing to make it fluoresce. Um, Blade centering, I don't know. It looks like it's slightly favoring the show side. Yeah, definitely looks like it's favoring the show side. Tell me what you think. Oh, wait, shit, I forgot to put up my other light. Does that help? Emilio?
Sim, tá perfeito. Frozen. Travou, gente? Ou fui eu que travei? What the hell? Ai, eu acho que fui eu. Deixa eu sair.
Sorry about that. It was not my fault. It was shall we call it human error, and the genius of people who know everything. Have you noticed that people who know everything will be like, it's the Dunning-Kruger effect. If you guys know what the Dunning-Kruger effect, it's people who objectively test lower on skills or knowledge tests overestimate how good they are. And then, on the other hand, those who, here we go, those who are actually test high themselves, in fact, tá barulho, Jimmy.
Melhorou.
No, você. Okay, I was talking about, and yeah, you're right. I realized BK was Black Blade. Look at these people who just know so much. You guys are knife prodigies. So yes, BK does in fact mean black blade, because I forgot that it does in fact have the, I believe it's a satin blade, or no, it might be a polished blade. That's a good question. I don't remember anymore. I have to admit, because it's the black and Zome glow in the dark, I realize now it does look, in fact, much better with the black blade. I think it's about $10 extra. So take a look at that centering. What do you guys think? You guys think it's any good? To me, it seems like it favors the show side. I don't know if you can see that. And should I open it first? Let's open it. Let's see it. Is it flickable? Very flickable. Shocking for a backlock. And it's not drop shutty, and I don't think it's meant to be. The inside is not chamfered pretty much at all, so it's fairly sharp. And the Delica is quite small, isn't it?
Isso é
Let's
Spyderco?
É Spyderco, sim. Olha.
Amor, por que você não me disse isso antes? Nossa, ela é linda.
Sim, essa faca se chama Delica, como
Já ouvi
delicado.
falar.
É Delica.
Delica.
Essa
Combina
faca é
comigo.
uma de mais famosa, né? De Spyderco. Oh, nobody's back. Hopefully people can join back in. Doggone it. Yeah, action's good. And I really like how they put that dimple in the backlock. That dramatically improves its comfort. Oh, it actually does drop shut pretty good. Hopefully people can join back in. In the meantime, here's what I'm going to do.
Esse detalhe do cabo dela é feito de quê?
Okay?
É tipo acrílico? O cabo dela. Esse trem é verde? Como é que é?
Não entendo.
É
O
uma,
cabo?
isso,
Ah,
qual é o material?
eu, eu vou te mostrar. Espera.
Ok.
Perfect. I forgot the one major piece of today's demonstration that I needed. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Alguém voltou. Mentira. Eu quero muito essa faca. Uau.
Okay, let's shut this off.
É Spyderco, é Delica. Combina comigo. Total neon. Vixe, Maria. Olha.
É $100.
Beautiful. A moça vai me dar ela. Eu vou ir na tua casa
Oh,
roubar
thanks
ela.
for joining back. What did you have to do? Did you just refresh and I was back, or did you have to reload the page? How did you get back in once I get knocked out? And it was human error, not mine. A combination of people who struggle to do things beyond a level of mediocrity.
Frozen. Oh my God. Eita. Ele caiu. O tombo é grande. A queda. Voltou, voltou, voltou. Travou de novo. Nó, desânimo. Voltou, amor.
Reload. Okay. So if you have to refresh the page in order to come back, I'm just wondering. Okay, so let me show you some of my. So there's
Nossa, ainda
the
ficou.
Zome. What are some other? The best is the Victorinox. This definitely shines the brightest. So let's see if I can
Essa é a
demonstrate.
zumbi? Essa é aquela faca zumbi?
Isso? Não.
É. Não,
É
a outra,
Zome.
pequena.
É Zome. Isso é
Zomé.
Victorinox. O,
Ah, tá.
o faca de Suíça.
Ah,
Okay.
sim.
So let me see if I can maybe display it up here. Let's see if that'll work. That's not going to work. Can you guys see if I leave them here? Yeah. So then we've got the real steel shredded carbon fiber glow in the dark. Terrible action. I keep forgetting the name of this. It's D2 shredded carbon fiber, real steel. I keep forgetting the name of this. It's beautiful, this shredded carbon fiber, but the action is awful. I just can't get it to drop shut. I think it's on. Well, it's got to be on washers. It sounds rough too. I've heard people like this knife. I think it's awful. Cannot get it to flick. I know I can lube it, but I want to break it in first. I want to wear some grooves into the washers first. So before I jump on that. And let's see. So there's that. Then there's the Victorinox Tinker. Again, these glow the brightest by far. And you can see how bright those shine. Next, we have the Boker Tech Tool Orange Glow in the Dark. So we've got this. So you can see the difference on these. And then the Rough Rider Glow in the Dark series. They call this the Moon Glow. So you can see the Trapper. The most recent addition to my collection is do they call it the work knife? Is it the work knife? It has this liner lock in there.
Olha só. Mentira, Marcos. É tudo meu. It's me. It's
É nada
mine.
pra Mariana. Que mala,
Não.
E
Para,
safado.
amor.
Safado.
Para, amor, de dizer isso. As pessoas acreditam. Charles is a joker.
Joker.
É
So
joker?
this one is newly back in stock at SMKW. I don't know if it's elsewhere. It was sold out absolutely everywhere, which is a good sign because I was afraid that these were discontinued. But obviously they're not. They are able to put these back into production. Obviously, this must have been their most popular one since it has a liner lock. So it's kind of like a traditional with a locking possibility without being a back lock. I mean, there is the double lock back, which has the back lock, but obviously people prefer liner locks. And the lady's leg, I never wanted these because I thought they were corny, but I realized they have fantastic ergonomics. Look at that. You can almost get a full 4 fingers on it. For such a tiny knife, it has awesome ergonomics. Surprising. Not awesome, but surprisingly good ergonomics. Oh, the Sidus. That's it. Golly. Grumpy Grunt, you are the knife the knife guru today. It is indeed, it is the Sidus, and it has been found wanting. I'm sorry to say. This is the trap. No, this is not the trapper. What the heck do you call this? This is a not a cattle knife. What do you call these? Stockman. Stockman. So the Stockman evolved out of the cattle knife. It's the 3-bladed cattle knife. Excuse me, Stockman. I'll have to call him back later. And then that's not every knife. I also have the rough. This is also part of the Moon Glow
Essa também
series.
fica?
Huh?
Essa também fica neon? Nossa!
Não. É Lumina, entendeu? É diferente.
Lumina.
Olha,
Lumina. Sim.
eu vou te mostrar.
Cadê a zumbi? Cadê a zumbi?
Não, olha, eu te mostro, vou te mostrar, tá?
Tá.
Então, temos uma outra série de mesmo marca, para zumbi, é específico zumbi, e é neon, mas é não lumina, olha. Entendeu?
Eu lembro dessa faca.
Like, hey, is it neon? It is not neon. It's glow in the dark. As you can see, it looks almost the same, but
Verdade.
one glows, one doesn't. You see that?
Sorry.
In the naked light, they look almost identical, but one. And so the zombie series is almost a neon, zombie green anyway. So can you guys see that? Yeah. So you can see the relative luminosity. And as you can see, the Victorinox kicks butt. And I am not one of these SAC fanboys. And I kind of never understood why they're so expensive. And I realized their workmanship, their fit and finish is unparalleled. I mean, they have basically zero manufacturing defects. Their fit and finish is always up to standard. It's and look, everything they do it the best. You see, you got that Boker. See that Boker? How dull it is. Even this Delica, you see how much duller it is compared to. Look at that. That lights up like a light. You know. So anyway, also the Rough Rider sheaths for all of their small hunters. First of all, the small hunter is ludicrously small. It's uncomfortably small. It's a sweet, cute little hunting style, clip point style dagger, or not dagger, like skinner. Like it's good for skinning. It's definitely a hunting knife. But these sheaths, I mean, they're durable. They look okay, but they are robust, but they gave it zero retention without the button. I don't like that. I mean, with the button, it's more than okay. Don't get me wrong. And this stays nice and wide apart so that it's pretty easy to reach in and grab that. So I'm not a huge fan. It's probably better than I understand. Oh, and this is my Gonzo 727S, one of my all-time favorite EDC knives, one of my absolute favorite fidget knives. Fantastic action. I paid next to nothing for it. I actually got a second one even just because I like it so much, because I keep losing this. It keeps returning to me. And here's what I did. I got some glow-in-the-dark paint, and I painted the underside of the scales. And then just as an experiment, I actually painted the outside of the scale as well. And as you can see, only some of it wears off. Not all of it wears off. So you can, in fact, also paint the front of the scales, the top, the outside. You can see the parts where it has worn off, but it doesn't only wear off. So I even painted, you see the outside there, to see how well it would stay. This is just purely an experiment. But yeah, you can paint the underside of those scales and they will in fact glow. Not phenomenally well, but it will glow. So that's another way to do glow in the dark. I also have the Cthulhu. This is the glow in the dark minimalist with the HP Lovecraft Cthulhu on top. I mean, etched onto both sides. It's their Bowie. This is the second version. Before that they had the gears, the green one, the gears. So can't really tell, can you? It's not very.
Essa fica. Essa é top. Olha. Topperson.
I have a lot of knives with him. Yes. E fala tudo dele. Feels better to not hear rattling. You mean with this? There's no rattle. But, if I pop the button off, I mean, there's zero retention. And I did show you yesterday the obnoxious amount of rattling with the Topps California Cobra, the non-lethal option.
Amor, aquela minha faca ali, ela não fica neon não, né? A minha verde?
Sim. E não neon. E não neon, é lumina.
É Lumina. Ai, peraí, eu tenho que me acostumar. Então, mais para coleção, mas é minha.
Mostra.
Ué, da nossa coleção.
Tá bom.
É nossa coleção.
Mas é daqui. Eu tento.
Tá bom.
E não é fácil, né? Okay, so here's more. Here's the other minimalist. So this is the first glow-in-the-dark minimalist. I'll show it with the second. Might as well clip them together now at this point.
Isso.
Okay, there we go. So there you go. There are the two. And then, here's another example of UST gear I like. This is the UST glow-in-the-dark tent stake hammer. It's plastic. And the UST glow-in-the-dark carabiner. And if you can see, it actually has a glitter pattern. I don't know if you can you tell? It actually has a glitter pattern in it. So, obviously, for anyone who's done any camping, losing your hammer, trying to set up your tent in the middle of the night, which is usually the case, right? One can't always be prepared and set it up during the daytime. And next thing you know, you're setting up your tent in the pitch dark, and it's a pain in the ass. And in the days before sophisticated lights, people had shitty flashlights. Not everyone had what do you call those headlamps. That was like something that miners had. You know what I mean? Yeah, so there we go. So those are, I think, just about all. I've got a couple of Gonzos that have the glow-in-the-dark little strips. So can you see? Okay, so these don't last too long. Take a look. I don't know if you can tell. Actually, what I can do is do this to show you the difference. See? Let me show you the difference on the Victorinox. See that?
Muito pouco. Eu acho muito legal isso.
And lastly, the newest knife. We should show it off some.
Mostra as lâminas das facas aí.
Qual isso?
É, essa que você não mostrou.
Sim, já, pouco. Okay, so that is the glow-in-the-dark section of the night. And what else? I showed this. This is MAM, M-A-M. This is a Portuguese knife company. Essa faca é de Portugal. É de
Portugal?
1897.
Sim, lembro dessa faca. Ela é muito pequena e é linda ela. Chega mais perto, por favor.
Since 1870 on there. So at first I was like, these are just open up rip-offs. You know, they may be, but they've been ripping them off for over a century. So I can't be mad about that. That is, to me, that's a sweet little keychain knife. That's a traditional, slip joint. So can't be mad about that. That's cute. Although the picture shows a brown leather, which would have looked a lot better. But then again, green kind of looks more distinctive. So, oh well. I gotta say, I had very low expectations for the Delica. I know that it's Nick Chabaz's ultimate knife. It's one of his gems. I didn't realize it was that good of a knife. It really is good.
Gente, é perfeita essa faca. Eu tô apaixonada por ela. E é Spyderco.
Melhor do isso?
Deixa eu ver.
Melhor do isso?
Eu sabia que eu achava ela parecida. É melhor do que essa, parece. Aparece, eu nunca pego.
Okay, so check it out. Here's a size comparison. Quite a bit different. There are the blade lengths. Actually, the blade shape is nearly identical, isn't it? It really is almost identical. It makes you wonder if the PM2 is just a compression lock version of the Delica. I wish I knew. I didn't know. Maybe it's an obvious fact to those. Grumpy Grunt might know if he's still in here. But it would appear to me that the PM2 came right out of the Delica. I mean, look at that. I see very little difference in the curve. Very little difference in the spine. Okay, there's a little bit of a nose, if you will, on the Delica, whereas the PM2 comes straight down. And the PM2 is made in Colorado, and the Delica is made in Seki City. And some people think the Seki City makes better knives, and a lot of people think the Taiwanese knives are much better. I mean, I love my Watu. I think the Smock is made in Taiwan, and the Ikuchi is made in Taiwan. Those are my favorite Spydercos.
Amor.
Okay.
O cabo da outra Spyderco sua, que você mostrou, que você acabou de pegar. É que material?
PM2? O material de lâmina é CPM 30 V. Isso é prêmio. E de Delica é VG10. Isso é não prêmio. É bom, mas é não prêmio, não.
Tá, entendi.
Entendeu?
Marcos fala com você.
They all take after one another. I mean, they certainly do. It's got that classic Spyderco look. To me personally, I think Spydercos are exactly what critics say. I think they're ugly as sin. I think they are ugly, 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 ugly as sin. I think that hole looks ridiculous and stupid, but it provides a fantastic thumb ramp. The Spyderco hole is one of the best deployment there is. It's perfectly sized for your middle finger. It really is the best way to deploy a blade because you have nothing getting in the way of your cutting of your cutting surface. See, like with a thumb stuff. Well, see, Gonzo did it perfectly. See how it's completely out of the way of the cutting path. It's not out here somewhere. And it also probably won't affect it for sharpening. It may just barely get in the way, but I don't think so. There is a lot of gunk on this. I mean, talk about user. I have used the crap out of this.
Cuidado. É devagar.
And there's some nasty junk on this. I mean, is that bad? Are you not? Are you supposed to clean your blades? I mean, I remember my first user was a really 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 cheap Gerber, and I mean that thing had so much crap on it, and I didn't care. You know, it was I bought it on sale for like $5 at the time. You know, like what 20 years ago, and it was a terrible knife. Liner lock, GFN, but I liked it. It was big, beefy. It had a really tall blade, which I like, and you know, the centering was horrible. I didn't know anything about centering a blade back then. I frankly didn't care. You know, I got snobby much later. Man.
Legal.
Yep, just useful knives. You know, it's all about function and form over fashion, and I respect that. And they invented they invented essentially the tactical knife with the Spyderco Police. They invented the pocket clip as well as the concept of a folding tactical knife.
Legal.
Yeah, they didn't keep. Wish they didn't keep pricing them up. That was one of the big things. Now, so Spyderco started in 1984, and I remember in the 80s, you know, they were considered like, I mean, I remember my friend came to school one day and he's like, my brother got a Spyderco. I was like, everyone was like, ooh, you know, this was in the 80s. So Spyderco back then was something just in the stratosphere, like how today maybe we might think of like a custom maker, like, oh, you know, he got a hinderer or something, you know. It was something that was just so amazing to us. Then when I got back into knives, I just felt like, you know, the spider tax, you know, I definitely think they're grossly overpriced. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what it's going to take to have a more realistic pricing. For one thing, the other production companies aren't frankly keeping up. I mean, I was just mentioning how phenomenal these Chinese companies are, but they're not giving Spyderco a run for their money just yet. You know, I mean, like this one, they have a slot. They could have made it flickable, but they didn't. You know, they're using D2, which is good, but you know that when they do a premium blade, they're charging about, you know, not you know, still less, but they wouldn't be justified in charging more. Right now, Riyadh is the only one that Riyadh, they're the ones that's really kind of pushing the envelope instead in terms of like, yeah, we're going to charge a premium too because we feel like we're part of the big boys, and I think they're justified. By the way, I got to handle the double helix, the Wii knife that is essentially has it's like a bar lock except the spring is on the outside of the scale, and the action is like butter. I want that knife so bad. I need to get rich. We have the power to stop all that. How? You mean by not buying? You mean? Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean by the power to get them to reset their prices or buying from other companies? I mean, let's face it, they've got to feel the crunch from the SRMs, the Civivis, the hell, even Rough Rider. I mean, because this has essentially become a Chinese knife at this point.
Hmm.
The Gonzos, when they showed up, I mean, people were shocked, and Birdshot IV is right. The Gonzo is absolutely a gateway drug. I mean, when you get a knife like this for 12, 14 bucks, these days they're about 20, 25. I mean, you're just going to think you can get that much knife for that, but then here's the thing. Is this knife what? So this is, I got this for, let's say, about 12, 120. That's a full 10. You're telling me that this knife is 10 times better than this? It might be twice as good, but is it 10 times as good? You know what I mean? I mean, imagine having 10 of these. Imagine having 10 of these to one of these. If you were in an apocalyptic situation and you could only carry around one knife, then yeah, obviously you want this. But I assure you, 10 of these will outlast one of these. You're telling me you can't snap that tip off? I pry with this fucking thing all the time. And it hasn't snapped off. It's 440C. It hasn't snapped off. The ergos are great. And if I snap this off, I've already got another one, and it would be easily replaced. Meu voice e tá barulho.
Oxi.
Let's see. Oh,
Não sei de
did
onde
you?
tá vindo o
How was
barulho.
that? How was what? I don't understand. Oh, did you? How was that? I'm not certain what you mean. Oh, the double helix. Yeah. Incredible. Yeah. Don't let them give any excuses and we just say, okay. I'm not quite sure. I mean, thus far, let me think. I got this secondhand and it's like new, I got my PM2. I definitely got it secondhand. Let's see. Where did I put it? It was just, yeah. I got my PM2 secondhand, also like new. I got my Watu secondhand. As a matter of fact, I got my Watu from Slicey Dicey, believe it or not. It took them a year to send it. I got my Akuchi secondhand. I got my Smock secondhand. Yeah. Yeah, and I think the reason why I did that was I just feel so uncomfortable paying a huge premium. I got these at a solid discount, I still need a pair of 3, and I do plan on getting one. I'd love to get a Shaman, but they're just so extremely overpriced. I also have the Spyderco Bug. I have. Oh, well, of course I have the Arctic Storm. I don't know. Do you guys want to see that again? I still haven't texted my friend. I'm such a flake. Haven't even so much as texted him yet. Jesus Christ. So there's the Arctic Storm. Yeah, well, it's not drop shutting yet. So, and it's in M4. So there we go. I don't think I'd ever know the difference between M4 and S30V. Let's face it. I don't think I'd ever notice the difference. If I did a blind cut test, I doubt I'd be able to tell the difference between um, M4 S30V and frigging what is it 440C my Gonzo. Where is it? My 440C Gonzo. And for that matter, Cedric and Ada made an interesting point, and I mean he's the sharpening god. He said, if I had a magic wand and I went into your collection and instantly changed all of your premium steels into 8CR13, he's like,
Mm-hmm.
none of you guys would notice a difference. Now, I think it's a bit bold. He definitely uses his knives too, but there are people who use their knives to open, like hundreds of boxes. They would notice. They'd notice if their M4 were suddenly switched to 8CR13. But if you were just to do one cut, probably not. Just like the 80-20.5, I believe should have only been $80 to $90 knife. Look, I agree with you. I could not agree with you more. And where is my 80-20.5? I agree with you. I did not want to pay a premium for the 80-20.5 on the secondhand market, so I just waited till it came up new. I literally just stumbled upon it. I absolutely just stumbled upon on SMKW. I wasn't looking for it. I didn't, for some reason, I didn't get a notification. I don't remember getting one. I just happened to look it up one day, and I was like, "What the fuck? They have it in stock?" And so I got one. Unfortunately, they didn't have the. I think they call it the shark's foot, just to be funny. But it's true. This is probably an $80 or $90 knife. If Cold Steel made it, they can make it for 80 or 90 because it's just Ust 10, incredibly thin grivery. But we are paying for the intellectual property. We're paying for a unique lock. And, they're charging what the market will bear. They know they could charge much more than that. Is it pretty outrageous? Yeah. But when you're the only guys with the shark lock, you gotta make your money when you can. It is an $80 to $90 knife. Now, apparently the tolerances required for their shark lock are really pretty high. I think they're even harder. Well, like the triad lock requires some good machining, but apparently the shark lock requires some really, really good, careful machining, which is apparently why the grivery needs to be so thin. I don't understand the explanation, or I've heard the explanation why. And now I just saw someone mention there are now aftermarket scales for this, which I would love to get some micarta scales. Although, does this thing have liners? Yeah, it does. They're nested. Yeah, I'd love to get some micarta scales. That would make this knife more or less perfect. I mean, except for the fact that it's only Ust 10. But again, I will never wear down an Ust 10. And considering Cold Steel has Ust 10, their Formax Scout, Ust 10, that thing is beefy, is brutal. That is a beast of a knife. Yes, but I bet you anything they use same makers that made their Cold Steel models. I think so. That's why I called it grivery, because I'm sure that Demco went to the same factory and got them to make this for them. Everyone assumes as much, and I think it's a fair assumption. I think they absolutely had them do that, which is why I believe they're using grivery. Without calling it grivery, it's kind of like hush hush, grivery, wink wink. Therefore charging more than they should. Right. I work in manufacturing. The other thing too is they're a smaller company. They don't have as deep pockets. I assure you, they are making much, much, much much smaller orders than Cold Steel. We're talking to the order of 10. They're ordering maybe 10,000 at a time, whereas Cold Steel is probably ordering 100,000 at a time. And that dramatically increases and decreases your cost. It's exponential. In manufacturing, the more you make, the more dramatically your price decreases. That's just the nature of manufacturing. That's the way it works. If you ordered only 10 of these, even with the materials, it would cost you an arm and a leg, which is why prototypes cost a lot. Getting a prototype made will cost you what it costs to buy that knife retail. So you would have to pay that manufacturer. The way it is in my field in clothing, in order to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 prototypes made, I'll bet you they're paying the manufacturer $150 for the prototype.
$50.
Provavelmente. So they charge a lot for those aftermarket scales, and they charge a lot. Really? What's a lot? You mean 50, 60? Well, make it over $200 knife. Yeah. You're right. No, it will. Yeah, exactly. Because the aftermarket scales are 50 or 60, making this a $200 knife, which is, you're right. That's fucking ludicrous. $200 for this is twice as much as it should be. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. And again, I conceded only because I just couldn't take it. I could not take not trying out that shark lock, because I have the Scorpion lock, the 8015, and I love it. Fidget friendly, love it. So when the shark light first came out, of course I started drooling, and then I waited and waited and waited. I was like, I just, Cold Steel's going to come out with one. Then of course Cold Steel got sold. I have a heart attack, because now I know that Cold Steel is not going to get the shark lock, which indeed is exactly what happened. And then he had to put it in production himself. I mean, I wish that Lynn Thomas had sold it now as opposed to a year ago. Because then at least Cold Steel would have the shark lock. Cold Steel would have a production version of the 8020. And we'd be, like you said, we'd be able to get 100 and, they'd still charge a premium, but, you might be able to get it for 120, 130. And also, they might sell it for, let's say, 130, 140, 150, but they'd have a upgraded steel. And with the S35VN, it would still probably have Grivery, but who knows? Yes, $60, $85. Wow. So you've looked it up? Where did you look up the aftermarket scales? I'm not gonna get aftermarket scales. Never mind. Well, will I? Maybe. Nah, you're right. I would feel awkward having a $200 knife. I would just be like,
Maria.
I mean, do you hear that? Do you hear that action? Do you see how frigging fidget friendly this knife is? It is a fidget king. Oh, on Etsy. Okay. Yeah, but if and when, let's say, like Flytanium or somebody else, one of the big companies were to come out, then yeah, it would still cost that much, and who knows if the machine would be better or worse. Okay, I just did that, and I keep damaging my poker. I wish I had gotten another one of these. I really screwed up. Okay. Anyway, what time is it now? It's 9:50. I have a Zoom meeting at 10 in 10 minutes. So
it's another the Zoomy. Let's go Zoomy.
I'm going to cut it off here. And I appreciate you guys for participating and showing up. For people on the rebroadcast, I'd love it if you could hit like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Try and get me a little more into the algorithm. Not because I have some sort of self-interest in the channel. I really do want to try to get a bigger voice in terms of, I feel like I do have a bit of a unique voice in this community. And in the sort of mediocrity of sameness, I'd love to add a little bit of diversity and shake things up a little bit. Hey, thanks. Yeah. You could have used some CZVC and G10 and sold it for under 20, and I would buy. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that would be awesome if Civivi made this, which makes you wonder, like, why isn't Civivi coming up with the shark? Oh, thank you. Thank you. Valeu. Por que você
Valeu. Não, você
cruel?
tem. Não, 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 não. Você é malo. Malo, muito malo.
Você.
Toda faca é pra mim.
Toda faca é pra mim, já. Já pra mim. Já.
Igual as pizzas. As pizzas é minha também. My pizza. Amor, vamos? Tá na hora do seu Zoom.
Tá.
Eu vou dormir. Você quer que eu
Tá.
te acorde amanhã?
Quanto tempo?
Quanto tempo o quê?
Você precisa me te acordar?
Eu quero que você me acorde. Você não precisa acordar cedo amanhã, não?
Eu não.
Tá bom. Me
Tá.
acorda umas. Vixe, você vai estar acordado? Eu tenho que acordar 10 horas da manhã.
Não, 10 horas para mim também, provavelmente. Eu não vou. Então, depois, tá? Tchau.
Tá.
She said you safado. Oh my God. 7 minutes for your meeting. Yeah, thank you. All right. Bye-bye, everybody. Good night.
Eu disse o quê? Safado?
Sim.
Eu falei que horas?
Não, ele mente, é brincadeira, tá? Tchau.
Ah, tá bom. Bye, Marcos.
Bye,
Tchau,
everybody.
everyone. Bye, bye. Bye, love. Bye, my love.